So I have a non-profit that cares for elderly and disabled animals. So why did I choose to care for the elderly and disabled? Well, I used to volunteer a long time ago at an animal sanctuary, and mainly in the cattery, and I used to get so upset because the ones that would be overlooked would be any animal with a disability or any elderly animal or those that came in pairs, and I used to find this so upsetting, and I ended up taking most of them home with me. And it got to the point where I would have more animals at home that needed me, so I had to stop going to the cattery, and then I decided to sort of start my own non-profit. But for me it's very important because we have a lot of charities and a lot of people that advocate for elderly people and for disabled people, and that is brilliant. But we don't really have a lot of charities or people out there that advocate for disabled and elderly animals. And I think it's very important to show that they give a lot back and that they're just as worthy of a beautiful forever home and the love and the care of attention than any other animal. And it is really, really heartbreaking to see how they get sort of pushed to one side. And I would wholeheartedly say to adopt a disabled or elderly animal. Seniors, okay, you're not going to have as many years with them, but they are just so wonderful because they already know their ways. You know, they usually sleep a lot, they're usually a lot more relaxed, and it really is such an honour to have an elderly animal. They are so wonderful, just like it is with like elderly people, you know, their sort of wisdom and everything. An older animal has that too. And it's the same with an animal with disabilities. Please don't be put off with by an animal with disabilities, whether that's a dog, for example, that you've adopted, or perhaps your own dog has had an accident or something's happened and they now have a disability. Please don't put them to sleep. There are so many things that you can do for them, and they can live such a wonderful life using perhaps a wheelchair, or they might just need a bit of help, you know, up and down stairs, for example, or they might need to have their bladder or bowels expressed. But again, these are things that are not complicated or difficult, and we all, with a bit of practice, you won't even think twice about doing it. I mean, you wouldn't give your child up if they, God forbid, had an accident and became incontinent, for example. So why would you do it with your dog or your cat? So please don't feel like you should give them up or put them to sleep just because they've now got a disability. Please reach out. You can always reach out to me, and there are other people that you can reach out to. For example, Miracles Mission, they deal with disabled animals too, just for some advice. And just don't overlook them. Please always adopt. Don't buy from breeders. There are dogs and cats for everyone, and not just dogs and cats, rabbits, rats, mice, whatever you want to adopt. For everyone. There's absolutely no need to go for a breeder. There are so many animals out there. There are waiting lists of animals that are being given to shelters, and it's so important to look after these animals. So please always adopt, but then always think about the elderly and the disabled ones too, because they are just as worthy and they get so overlooked. People always go for the puppies, for the kittens. They always go for the sort of ones that look the cutest. Try and think about what you can give to an animal rather than what an animal can give to you, you know. Anyway, so that's why I look after disabled and elderly animals, and why I think that everyone should at least consider it, you know, and see what would fit in with your lifestyle, of course. But don't just dismiss it outright. And reach out and ask questions, and you really will find it's not as difficult as you think it might be.